channel, if there are any of you. First of all, I know a lot of you are concerned about this. This is a hoodie thing with a hood that Leanna bought me for Christmas, and so I thought I'd better wear it, otherwise she'll get the idea that I'm a bit self-conscious about it. Alright, so that's what that's about. You'll know that my favourite kind of modeler for a few reasons is the HX Stomp. Not least because it's like £400 in the UK and you know, about the kind of price of a Strymon Timeline or something like that, or a Volante. And obviously you know that I really dig the Helix stuff. You get access to all of that in the HX Stomp for that kind of money, and it's tiny, you know, like the size of a face, and I think it sounds really good. The only other 9.6 product that I think is even cheaper, the Pod Go, I think you can get these for about £350 at the moment on Toman. It's not quite as fully featured as the HX Stomp, but I think it has some added benefits over the HX Stomp, which I just wanted to talk about today. So kind of the idea is why I really like the Pod Go. So first of all, the screen is more than double the size, maybe 3 times the size. So I think for folks that are maybe finding the HX Stomp screen, because it is quite small, I feel like the experience of actually working with the Pod Go is a little bit better when you're kind of tweaking things around. You've also got more knobs along the bottom, so when you're actually dialing in amp tones and effect tones and stuff, you've got less scrolling through menus. You're just like looking at it and then dialing things in. The other thing, you've got 4 snapshots versus 3 on the HX Stomp. Now that could be a really big thing if you're actually gigging the thing. And the other really key benefit over the HX Stomp is being able to switch between snapshot mode or preset mode and stomp mode. So when you press mode, I'm in snapshot mode by default, that's generally what I use, and you can press mode and you could turn off like compressors, delays and bits and pieces like that, more like the Helix LT. So the way that works on the actual screen, if you can see it, which generally with my eyes I can't see massively well on stage, is you know, it comes up on this screen and shows you what each of these correspond to, because like this preset has 2 EQs in it, so it wouldn't be that obvious without glasses on which one you were dealing with. It doesn't have MIDI out, the HX Stomp does, so in terms of controlling a rig or being controlled by part of a larger rig or being implemented into part of a pedal board, I think definitely the HX Stomp would be the way to go for that. It doesn't have parallel paths, and again I think that's something where you can build some more exotic stuff with the HX Stomp. What I do like about the Pod Go is that you've got this simplicity which is kind of default as part of it. You've got a semi-fixed signal chain, so basically every preset has a volume, wah pedal, an EQ, an amp and a cab, and then you have the flexibility to switch those other blocks around for what they could be, so you could have drive pedals, delays, reverbs, until you run out of DSP. So in this particular preset, because you've got an EQ already in there by default, I don't normally necessarily always stick an EQ in to an HX Stomp preset. It feels like it's using up a block, and sometimes you don't necessarily want to do that. But in this one, I'm using my block in the middle between the amp and the cab to kind of boost the low end a bit. And then I've also put an EQ up front, in front of the amp, to kind of boost the highs as well, and kind of do like a smiley face kind of EQ thing, and I think that was quite effective. I wouldn't have tried that, I don't think, on the Helix, unlikely anyway, but because in the Podgo I've got to work around some kind of DSP limitations, a semi-fixed signal chain, there's a few different bits and pieces that I end up trying with this, which I don't think I would have ever experimented with the Helix. Things that are missing, you end up missing the King of Tone drive pedal, you end up missing the Space Echo, you end up missing the pitch, the new pitch effects, and you end up missing things like poly sustain. But you've got dynamic hall, and you've got the hot springs, you've got those new bits and pieces, and you've got the glitch delay. I don't know if you've got the shuffling looper, is that in there? You don't have the shuffling looper, but in general I think you get enough where I think there are definitely people out there, there's a community of people out there that do use the Podgo for gigging and stuff, and I think it's a really cool little unit. As I say, if you're using this as a standalone, then for 350 quid, I can't really think of anything out there too much that I would rather buy. Things like the Hotone Ampero or Hot One Ampero, you don't have as much flexibility with the snapshots, the switching between modes. I think that is really key if you're going to be gigging the thing. The Nuax MG300, same sort of situation. Most of the cheaper modelers, I find that they're kind of missing some of these aspects that make the thing actually giggable. So for me, gigging live with this, you've got 4 snapshots. If you were to, I've gigged it once, it was a terrible gig, not the Podgo's fault. But yeah, if you were to set up 4 snapshots for the song or for the set even is what I did, and then you can switch between snapshot and stomp mode with this mode button, and then you've also got the expression pedal which you could do some stuff with. I still think the Podgo is definitely worth a look even as we go into 2022. I think it was released in spring, summer of 2020. We've had like 2 significant updates, so it's getting better. But yeah, still definitely worth a look, I think, as long as you do a little bit of research before and figure out whether it's going to do all the things you want it to do. No MIDI. See you in a bit. Oh, this is the LitiDumble preset, is what I was using in the intro and these bits and pieces, so I'll drop this into the Podgo folder if you want. Hopefully it's something that you kind of dig. Snapshot A is like a sparkly-ish, mid-gain kind of thing. Snapshot C is slightly less gain, more sparkle, and B is like the lead tone. So yeah, let me know how you get on with that. Cheers. Are you still liking your Podgo? Did you get rid of one? Have you had problems with yours? Let me know in the comments. I think that's interesting to folks watching the video. Part of this whole kind of reviewing thing, if you're actually going to read about this stuff and watch this stuff, I feel like having honest opinions probably matters. Cheers.